go wrong with either of those. But yeah, for the most part, you're just going to be in the front line. If your objective, it really depends on how you're trying to play against your team composition. If they have a nice front line and you want to be able to get to the back, you'll probably end up going for a, Titanic into Sterix, or yeah, I think Titanic into Sterix is probably a safe bet overall. I rush 6. Okay, so Wukong tells us he rushes 6, which means that we have no jungle pressure until then, so we have to be a little bit more cautious. Wish we would have known that. We would have probably taken teleport and got corrupting potion and nixed the total biscuit of rejuvenation. And let's go ahead and change the music. Just for copyright purposes. The nice thing about an Olaf is that you can pretty much 1v1 anyone level 1. Some people will disagree with me on that, but I think you have a pretty good likelihood of killing people. So it's actually an Olaf top with my secret choice here being Warlord's Bloodlust. I don't know, man. Damage and stuff. Alright, here we are. It's going to be a little bit tricky because we don't want TF to get a lot of poke against us. But he is Mia. We're actually going to scale up our Null Sphere, our Q, early. That way we're able to sort of farm from afar. Ricky the Alpha is... Oh, there he is. A blue card, I imagine. A red card. Okay, so taking a bit of damage here. We're gonna save our mana. We could theoretically poke, and we're gonna get our E next, just because we're gonna be seeing TF use a lot of spells, especially locking blue card after blue card after blue card. So we're just going to be able to stack that up pretty easily. Level 3 will pick up our W, which will help us sustain overall. So he's gonna miss the CS right here. Oh no, he's actually able to get a couple of those. So there. Yeah, Kassadin. Gonna again stay as far back as possible. We actually warded up the top lane. So we're going to want to stay as close to the top lane as possible. See? And as a result of that, we actually see that Graves is over there. So no need to flash on this one. We'll go ahead and save our summoner spells, chug a potion, and wait to farm on the tower. So we could have reactively flashed if Twisted Fate had Ignite or Thunderlords. We would have done it, but he didn't. So instead, we're able to walk away just fine. Well, close to just fine. So just a little bit. So we're gonna miss some CS here, and that's perfectly fine. Just because we're missing some CS. As long as we're not dying, which is sort of like the main objective for us, as long as we're not dying, I think we're okay with just staying even with Twisted Fate and his farm. I don't know if that was a graph flare, but I saw Graves on the top side of me. As a Kassadin, you should not be winning in terms of overall trades in CS versus a Twisted Fate. But yes, here we are. So we're out of potions. but for the purposes of mana regeneration, we'll get it back through our W. And again, our Duran's Ring as well. The big thing we want to look out for is not necessarily the yellow card, because if Twisted Fate decides to use a yellow card, we're okay with that, because he's not using it, using the card, for example, to get his mana back. We're not worried about him killing us because he has Deathfire, unless he gets help from the jungler. At level 6, we can actually start to do a little bit of nature. So, we're up 6 CS as a Kassadin against Twisted Fate. We're going to have to roam, anticipating when TF's going to roam as well. So right here, we're just saving our E, and we could... There's an argument as to why we might want to actually draw it back there. He's not level 6 yet, so we're just going to come in here and be a bully and secure that kill. We're going to flash, run away, and there we go. So, we were level 6 before him. The important thing to note here, actually, is that his level 6 doesn't actually give him anything in terms of combat. So, yes, we... I don't know. We have the ability to engage on him. The only thing that level 6 would have gotten him is the ability to escape. We actually couldn't do anything about that. But it allows us to sort of hang out and be able to fight him. In 1400 gold, we'll have our Rod of Ages. And it looks like there's a ping going on. I think he saw Graves, or the Ghost of Graves. At this point, I actually think I don't want to push this. We are able to actually take on Twisted Fate and kind of gank him as much as possible. Big concern is that we don't overextend, and overextending is sort of dangerous. We don't know. None of our lanes are pushed out, so we're not worried about TF roaming just yet. So there we go. We sort of smack him around. Tell him, hey, this is our lane now. Using our abilities. We're going to look out for our Thunderlords. Our Thunderlords will give us insight as to when we can come back in here and do a pretty good amount of damage. We might even want to roam toward bot. Graves is right here, so we're just going to farm as much as we can. So he's probably right over here. Wait for the card to come out. Yep, there he is. So we're just hanging out. Just hanging out. I have a pretty standard rune page, actually, for Kassadin. It is flat MR, flat armor, yellow armors, and then we have AP and Magic 10. I should have showed you that beforehand, but I'll actually provide you with a link. We want to ping mid as much as possible, just because at this point they might be... Twisted Fate might be roaming toward bot. He's been Mia for far too long. He could sneak a little kill onto Lee Sin. So we're actually going to roam this way just to protect ourselves. Try to figure out, is Twisted Fate anywhere in the mix? Do they have this warded? And if not, can we go in? So we're roaming. Okay. And we're going to go ahead. Kill. Holy cow, Jin. So everything could have went wrong. I guess did go wrong. Hopefully we're able to pick up a kill. Mid, nope, and he's in tower range. Thankfully he didn't get hit by a cart. So at this point, Wukong lives, thankfully. We'll get a pink ward, we'll buy some potions, and in 950 gold, we will come back over here. I think we could have went for Yeah, the fourth bullet just absolutely decimated me. I didn't think he was going to be Illusion, is the big thing for me. We could have gotten Tier. We might actually end up getting Tier. This next item. But let's see. Auto attack once, auto attack again. And we're gonna put a pink ward about right here. Okay, so he went over and he could actually flash if he wants, but no, there we go. Again, just a little bit of map awareness goes a long way in a lot of these circumstances. And we're actually going to get the book. Okay. So, I think TF is, I would imagine, Twist of Fate is raging. That's the only thing that really makes sense. That's what we just witnessed. You don't want to do it. Yeah. I think that's a sign of a broken man right there. He, you know what I think probably happened is that he was pinging his Graves to wait for him, and Graves did not. So we're actually just going to go ahead and let them push right here, or possibly roam bottom. This Fate is down there, so I'm going to come down there too. Hopefully he waits for me. If he has a flash, I'm going to come and be his saving grace. Just wait a little bit here. Oh, so Graves decides to follow. We're not actually able to do anything other than have our dude die. So we're just gonna go back. I think we're out of ages. Help that stack. Us getting a Archangel Staff might not be the worst decision, just because we're a little bit late to the stacking party. Well, pick this. Actually, pick this. Any potions. Just because they have a lot of potential for burst, so a Rod of Ages should give us a little bit, and we'll have Zonias. So we have a lot of defensive items. We'll also have a Lich Bane, I think, is the direction we're going. Our biggest fear is that we're going to run out of mana, so Morellos might be a fair item, especially because they have some champions that are... Okay, so that's the end of that. Champions that have, let's say, Warlords, which I think is only the Olaf right now. I'm actually surprised that Graves did not opt for it. So 3, 1, and 2, pretty good. So just trying to bully him. We're gonna put a ward over here just to keep ourselves safe. Akza. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Hello to the stream, but I've seen you on the Summer School Reddit forum thingy. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. Did you make a post? Sorry, I'm in game right now, so if you did post it and I didn't see it, my apologies to you. Can we go on this Twisted Fate? No, we're actually just going to roam bot, hoping that Wukong joins us, and then we're going to go back regardless. And we're going to go back and see, is Red there? Red is not there. I think this is probably worded, so we're going to try to sneaky hop. Oh boy. Okay, nope. I thought we were going to be tanking there. Let's wait for the minions to come through and hopefully... Okay, so Twisted Fate is right here. So we just want to go after Twisted Fate if at all possible. Also protect the broken. Knight, not so much. Let me jump to me. Waiting for Twisted Fate. Okay. I don't know if this is necessarily the best decision. The first time, yeah. I think Wukong is going to try to come in here and make magic happen. probably should have waited for Wukong. So, I thought Wukong was going to actually come hang out over here. Not yours, but often they say the same thing. Oh, okay. So, cool. Well, either way, welcome. Glad you could make it. I thought we were going to get a nice Wamo combo with Wukong, but it seems as though Aurelia is doing enough for us in the top lane. So Wukong should try to stop the backs. Always say please, just to be a little bit nice. But I don't think Aurelia is going to be able to take this inhibitor if they're actually able to roam. And we're going to go ahead and buy some Lucidity boots. So we're going to stack the tier. Hopefully we won't have mana problems. Yeah, so unfortunately we don't see anything. Olaf's itemization is not the best. This is the example of when maybe, to Penguin's point, getting a Seraph Gauge or Titanic Hydra might be better, because Aurelia is just going to be able to push into the Olaf, just because she has a Rage Blade. So, we're trying to figure out the best ways at which to make all of these sort of plays happen throughout the map. We have a dragon in 2 minutes. They were able to secure the first one. And I think there's a lot of pressure being put on the bot side. Twisted Fate has a Lich Bane, so he's going to be really adept at pushing towers. So now we're in a really not awkward, but really uncomfortable circumstance where we have to make the decision. Do we go for Twisted Fate, for example? Do we let him sort of roam? Because if we let him roam, he kills our dudes. But if we roam and he doesn't roam, what'll happen is that he'll be able to push towers relatively fast. We're just gonna let our blue buff gen a little bit. Let's see. Okay, no Twisted Fate. So again, just pinging as much as we possibly can. It looks like they might be roaming mid, so trying to be as cautious as possible. Penguin asks, when do you prioritize CDR as Cass, or do you not need to? I think there's an argument. The reason why Lucidity is really strong right now, for our purposes, is that we have reduced summoner spells by 10%. One of the nice things about Kassadin is that he has a lot of inherent dodging abilities, I guess we'll call it. Sort of escape mechanisms, especially with his Rift Walk. But if we had Rift Walk plus Flash and a lot of HP, and the theoretical Archangel Staff, what we'll see happening is that we have a lot of different ways to get out if we need to. Maybe even go ahead and pick up a Zonia's at some point too. And just because they do have Graves. So at this point, we don't know where TF is. They're going to be pushing this top part, so we're going to leave our mid lane dragon as well. You see Lee Sin is pinging for it. It's better off for us to go that way. I should probably run an interference and be a resource for my teammates, but I'm just going to go. We got the inhib top, so right now we're just kind of hanging out at this point. Okay, so we're just going to get a tower and then hopefully be able to get a dragon as well. You see Lee Sin is pinging for it. It's better off for us to go that way. I should probably run an interference and be a resource for my teammates, but I'm just going to go ahead and take the tower instead. So we're scaling really hard right now. In 4 minutes we'll have a stacked Rod of Ages, and it might be in our best benefit to go for an Archangel Staff, although we won't have it maxed for quite a bit of time. Just want to make sure that we're constantly spamming our abilities. So instead we're actually going to go, as we're waiting to stack, in about 10 minutes we will be outrageously strong, and I picked up another pink ward. And the reason I say we'll be that strong is because our tier will be stacked, our Rod of Ages will be finished, and then we'll have the ability to get Zonias. So Archangel Staff is only as strong as our tier allows it to be, and right now we only have 158 out of 750. And Kassadin doesn't have trouble necessarily stacking these abilities. or stacking the tier in particular. But we'll use the arm guard as a way to also make it so that over time we're building a lot of skill. And I'm going to actually take this pink board here, and I'm going to replace it right here, a little bit more aggressive. So this one was much more defensive. There's not anything on the bottom side, so we're just going to go ahead and hang out here, and we'll pink right here, and this should be a free Baron for us. I'm hopping over. We have vision over all the main points, which was Fate just gave him vision with his Destiny, but honestly, I think we're going to be A-okay. I'll climb over the wall. Let's go ahead and find him. I'm going to flash for this. How did they get the Baron? Rift walk up this wall. Aurelia is following. Going to Rift walk again, slow him down, and be able to theoretically end the game. Oh, they surrender. So, we had a pretty good impact. So the idea, and maybe this was actually a mistake on my end in terms of itemization and building. The idea was that we have to wait for our tier in order to get, S-rank on Aurelia. Let's switch the screens. We needed to get our tier stacked up, so we picked up the arm guard as a way to ensure as we were stacking up the tier, we are also stacking up the arm guard, so it gives us a little bit of this inherent tankiness through the armor that's gained. But what we also found in this situation is that maybe we should have just went for more aggressive items. We didn't need Zonias, we were pretty far ahead. 4, 2, and 6 is a pretty good stat line, so maybe we should have been much more aggressive than we let on in that particular example.